My name is Ellen Brown. I'm an Eco-Israel participant here at Hava Adam Eco-Educational Farm. Today I'm going to show you a tour of how I view the farm through a Jewish lens. Here we are in the mud workshop at Hava Adam. This place is particularly inspiring to me because it said in Genesis, in the beginning, that God breathed life into the earth, to dust, and man was created. So for me, this connection of Adam, meaning man, and Adama, meaning earth, is like only that last syllable, that God's exhale, breathing life into the earth, and then He created man. So here in this workshop where we work with clay, we work with like natural materials to create beautiful things, like pottery and even the mud that we use to create this structure. It's one way that we can act in God's image, by breathing life into the soil and creating something special with it. Here we are in the recycling center on the farm, also known lovingly as the Moshach. In this specific space, people from the community, people passing through the farm, drop off items that are no longer of use for them. And that's why we call it the recycling center. This, to me, represents the cornerstone principle of the Jewish environmental movement, Bal Tashlit, thou shalt not waste. It originally comes from a passage in the Torah talking about trees on the enemy's land when you're claiming the stakes in war. But today it's translated into not wasting anything and valuing the preciousness of life and the objects that we create. So in this space, things are reused or reinvented in new ways because nothing ever really goes away. This part of the farm is where we do serious business, the composting toilets. This to me represents another example of Bal Tashlit, but it also reminds me of what Rav Kook said, that to keep two truths in your pocket at all times. One, that the world is created for us, and two, that we are made of dust of the earth, and we can easily return to it. So this is a prime example of how everything is for us for taking, but that eventually we give it back, including our waste and when we pass on. So in this specific area, we're composting as we're taking in food, and we're giving it back in the same space. Here on the Eco Farm, we walk down this lovely long path towards Ecoville. It's decorated with olive trees, and olive trees have a lot of significance to the Jewish community and in Judaism in general. The symbolism is uncanny. Noah had witnessed a dove bringing back an olive branch, signaling land, and all sorts of stuff. Oil itself making a miracle happen over Hanukkah. But the tree itself is also symbolic. See, an olive tree gives off shoots at the bottom, like right here, while it's still growing. And this is a huge example of Lador Vador, from generation to generation. How we grow and we prepare for the next youngins. Here I am on Hava Adam, standing in a small wheat field. As part of our experience on the farm as an Eco-Israel participant, we harvested some of this wheat, turned it into flour, and baked it as bread. Towards the end of the Omer, the time between Passover and Shavuot, we hiked the last 3 days from Modi'in to Jerusalem and carried the bread we baked from this wheat right here as an offering to the temple, like they did in way back in old times, as part of a hike called Aliyah LaRegel. The Jewish principle against animal cruelty, Tsar Bale Chaim, is exhibited here in this chicken coop. This chicken coop is very different from any other farm that I've ever been on. There's trees growing inside, there's lots and lots of space, and this is the house for the chickens. And as you can see, we have someone who's poking around. We're just waking up. Inside I can see that there's 3 eggs. And as you can see in here, there's also a bunch more. It's a cozy space. Here on the farm and all around Modi'in, there are wild caper bushes growing. The caper bush has a significant part of Jewish history to it. It's supposedly what's called the burning bush. The idea is that Moses encountered a bush that wasn't consumed by fire. So how is that possible? Well, in this you can see it already has like red branches coming off. And because the roots are so high up above the ground here, they're young and they weren't consumed by fire because they were mostly made of water content. And so the bush was on fire, but it wasn't consumed by flames because it was a young bush. So it's a symbol of the burning bush, as well as this ideology of slavery. If you zoom in really closely, you can see those little prickles here. And it's very easy to stick your hand inside the bush to pick out the capers, but as you can see, to pull your hand out, you can get pricked very easily. It's symbolism of slavery. It's easy to go in, it's easy to get caught up in slavery, but to try to get yourself out, it's a little tricky. So it's a nice reminder here in Ecoville on the way back to the Dome Village to remember that we're here for something special. We're here to make a difference, and we could very easily fall back into our slave ways.